AEW President Tony Khan is set to make a major announcement tonight live on AEW Dynamite regarding the premiere episode of AEW Collision. Plus, speaking of Collision, an update on the ticket sales for the debut episode of the show at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois next month. And Samoa Joe has teased a big match for the premiere episode as well. Details on that. Plus, Forbidden Door, an update on how many tickets have been sold for AEW's next pay-per-view presentation alongside New Japan Pro Wrestling. Tony Schiavone gives an update on when his AEW contract is set to expire. An AEW Senior Vice President has addressed the criticisms of Double or Nothing, and Matt Jackson gives an update on his bicep injury. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling. Let's start off talking about AEW Collision, Tony Khan, and possibly CM Punk. Could tonight be the night when it comes to the announcement of a return of the former two-time AEW World Champion himself? Now, with AEW Collision mere weeks away, there are still plenty of questions left unanswered, and one continued no comment still looming. That is, of course, whether or not CM Punk would be on AEW Collision, a question Tony Khan yet again rebuffed as being unable to answer it at the post Double or Nothing media scrum. However, could there be a clarifying comment on CM Punk coming from AEW soon, as in tonight on AEW Dynamite, the May 31st edition of Dynamite on TBS? From the official AEW Twitter account, a post reading, quote, AEW CEO and General Manager Tony Khan will make an announcement about the debut AEW Collision tomorrow, that being today, on Wednesday night's AEW Dynamite live from San Diego at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on TBS. Don't miss Wednesday night's AEW Dynamite on TBS live tomorrow, that being today. Now, as far as what the announcement is, as of right now, we don't have an official update as to what it is, or reports or rumors of what it is. Many people speculating that, of course, it's going to be CM Punk being announced. Maybe it's just the title of the show. It has been rumored and reported by Dave Meltzer that the premiere episode of AEW Collision will be called The Second Coming, referring to the second coming of CM Punk himself. If we get any more tangible reports than that, we'll put together a small video later on today. If not, of course, we'll have to wait and see until the announcement is actually officially made when it comes to tonight's show. Now, when it comes to AEW Collision, there's been lots of talk about ticket sales for the first few episodes, particularly the ones in Canada, with some ticket sales not being too great. And courtesy of WrestleTix, we have an insight into how tickets are selling for the Chicago show, the premiere episode at the United Center so far. According to WrestleTix on Twitter, the current amount of tickets distributed as of 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time today are 6,921, with a total setup of 8,698. That leaves a total of 1,777 available tickets as of this recording. However, with over 2 weeks still to come until the show, one would expect that number to fall. However, there have been concerns regarding ticket sales in All Elite Wrestling as of late, not only for major events such as May 28th Double or Nothing, but also for the AEW Collision itself, with the Wrestling Observer Radio's Dave Meltzer recently stating that ticket sales for its early dates were looking really bad. However, of course, if CM Punk's return continues to be teased or even announced, which could happen tonight on Dynamite, things may well pick up, maybe for not just this premiere episode, but also for the future episodes as well. Now, when it comes to people that have already been announced for the show, one, of course, is Samoa Joe. And Ring of Honor World Television Champion Samoa Joe has issued an interesting challenge ahead of the debut episode of AEW Collision on June 17. Speaking on the Kick Rocks podcast, Samoa Joe confirmed that he will be in the arena for that taping, challenging local competitors to show up. Samoa Joe said, quote, I know I'm going to be there, the debut of AEW Collision. Anybody else in Chicago want to show up? They can be there too. We're gonna find out. Now, Joe was previously touted as a headline star of the new brand in AEW's press release following the announcement of Collision. It had been rumored, of course, that CM Punk would be facing Samoa Joe in his return program in All Elite Wrestling, or possibly a match that could be even taking place on that premiere episode itself. That indeed could be the announcement that is revealed tonight as well. Now, one of the big aspects when it comes to AEW Collision, and some believe the reason as to why Collision has been announced, not only to separate some people that don't get along, is to actually facilitate and giving people on the roster who are signed to big contracts time on television that they haven't had previously. With AEW Collision's June 17 debut drawing closer, a member of its advertised roster has shared his thoughts on being part of the new show, the benefit to talent, and the primetime Saturday night TV slot in particular. As I mentioned on this same Kick Rocks Wrestling podcast, current Ring of Honor television champion Samoa Joe commented on AEW presenting an extra live weekly television broadcast and the particular potential that Saturday nights represent. Joe said, quote, "I mean, obviously it's exciting to kind of add another show to the lineup for AEW, you know, doing Saturday Night Wrestling. Obviously, if the TV model was anything like it has been in the past, I would kind of believe some of those comments, but it's a very different world, a very different environment. I think Saturday nights are a really great night. I've always enjoyed events that I've seen on Saturday nights, so to have the opportunity to kind of give a lot of the AEW roster that maybe doesn't get enough time throughout the week and kind of showcase a lot of the talent that we have had, I think that's kind of a valid criticism. When you look at the AEW roster, you look up and down the roster, you see tremendous, talented athletes, but there are almost not enough time to see them all. I think AEW Collision will be able to definitely expand the fan experience as far as the wrestlers you get to see every week." While no formal announcement has been made on what AEW Collision means for the AEW roster amid reports of a possible brand split between Saturdays and Wednesdays, Joe has been featured on Collision's promotional materials alongside other stars such as Thunder Rosa, Miro, and Powerhouse Hobbs. The largest question mark, however, has consistently been surrounding Collision's supposed marquee star of CM Punk, who, despite some uncertainty, does now look set to be making his long-awaited AEW return on the first Collision broadcast from Chicago's United Center on June 17. Of course, again, if we get any more updates on CM Punk and Collision, we'll let you know. Now, when it comes to stars attending the show, we know that CM Punk is rumored. People that are confirmed are the likes of Samoa Joe, Thunder Rosa, Miro, etc. But what about stars that aren't going to be attending the show? Well, after independent promotion Wrestling Revolver announced some very exciting top AEW talent coming to their upcoming show, Wrestling Revolver and the Ring of Destiny, fans took notice of the date. With Jon Moxley, Roderick Strong, and Konosuke Takeshita all announced as participating in the promotion's event, they are highly unlikely to be appearing on the debut episode of AEW Collision that same night. The date and location is notable in that Dayton, Ohio, while also in the American Midwest, are a hefty drive and flight away from Chicago, Illinois, about 4 hours and about 2 hours respectively. So at least for those three, they look likely to be ruled out of the debut episode of Collision on Saturday, June 17. But as ever, the event does note cards subject to change, so of course if AEW does decide that they want to have any of those stars on the show, they might have to be pulled out of their respective bookings. But again, we'll have to wait and see if there's any confirmation on that. Now, let's talk about Forbidden Door, the next AEW pay-per-view event, of course, that being a pay-per-view event that is presented or co-presented with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And an update has emerged on ticket sales for AEW New Japan Forbidden Door less than a month out from the event. Following last year's AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling crossover show, the 2023 edition of Forbidden Door will emanate from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada on June 25th. WrestleTix has shared a new update on the setup for the event, revealing that more seats have just been released at a standard price. Per WrestleTix, as of 9:25 Eastern Time, that being today, Wednesday, May 31st, 12,862 tickets had been distributed for the event. With the arena currently set up to seat 12,972 fans, only 110 tickets are still available for the show. 1,659 tickets have been put up for resale. As of recording, no matches have been made official for the event. While it's not confirmed, it has been speculated that the winner of the current IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship #1 Contenders Tournament will challenge for Kenny Omega's gold in Canada. Will Ospreay and Lance Archer will face off in a tournament final at New Japan Dominion on June 4. So it's likely that match is probably going to be taking place. Recently, of course, AEW World Champion MJF recently commented on his own status for Forbidden Door, calling New Japan Pro Wrestling an effing indie fed in an expletive-filled promo following the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Now, it is expected MJF is going to compete at the event. Against who, though, we still don't know. Tony Schiavone. Is there a reality where Tony Schiavone is not in All Elite Wrestling? Well, after being the voice of WCW throughout much of the 1990s, Tony Schiavone has once again found his home in professional wrestling, remaining an integral part of AEW since its formation in 2019. While most known for his on-screen commentary role, Schiavone has also been working in the company's talent relations department as the company's senior producer and special advisor to talent since mid-2022. Despite his integral role, Schiavone did in fact fact revealed that his AEW contract is in fact coming up rather soon, specifically April 2024. Revealing on the What Happened When podcast, Schiavone responded to claims that he earned a lifetime contract from Tony Khan, saying, quote, "That's an effing lie, unless my life ends by April next year. There is no guarantee that they're going to re-sign me. That's how I approach life. No guarantees. Klondike Bill told me one time, the job is a day-to-day thing, Tony. That's how I approach my life." Considering his impending contract expiry, a WWE move would presumably be on the table. However, that is not something Schiavone seems to be remotely considering, stating, quote, "No, it's well established here at the Schiavone household that Lois Schiavone has said even if I did think about going to WWE, she'll divorce me." Despite being so closely associated with WWE's rivals, Schiavone was in fact signed by WWE earlier on in his career, albeit briefly, spending a one-year stint in Stamford between 1989 and 1990. So it looks unlikely that Schiavone would ever go back to WWE, but what does his future in AEW look like? Well, again, we don't know right now, but I think it would be staggering if Tony Schiavone ever left All Elite Wrestling. Now, Double or Nothing was this past weekend, and it did get some criticism since joining AEW late last year following over 10 years at WWE. AEW Senior Vice President / Co-Executive Producer Mike Mansory has been busy revamping AEW's production since the start of the new year. Some changes, while not 100% confirmed to be Mansory's decisions, have included a visible overhaul to the production, set design, and ringside area, something that was largely welcomed and praised. However, it has presented some teething problems. Fans online have been critical of certain production issues in the past, in particular inconsistent audio levels for crowd noise and backstage segments. Perhaps in response to some of this backlash, Mansory posted on Twitter his response, labeling shots fired against him as a disappointment, saying, quote, "I'm proud to be part of AEW and our team. Disappointed to hear the shots fired my way, but it just serves as motivation. There has also been a fair amount of negativity towards perceived poor ticket sales of Double or Nothing. Despite selling over 10,000 tickets, a large section behind the hard camera was shown to be empty, which, in all transparency, is a regular occurrence at AEW and WWE shows. And again, pictures were posted around on social media, and that was a criticism of AEW this past weekend. Something that actually WWE ex-commentator, affiliate, I'm not really sure what his title is nowadays, Pat McAfee, he even commented this week. Now, McAfee himself may be on an indefinite hiatus from WWE at the present, but that doesn't mean he can't afford to take some time to comment on wrestling, and not just WWE, but AEW too. On his most recent Pat McAfee show, the former NFL punter referenced a photo uploaded by the Wrestling Observer's Brian Alvarez at Double or Nothing this past weekend that showed a large empty section behind AEW's hard camera, something that was obviously never visible to viewers at home and is a regular occurrence at WWE and AEW shows. McAfee said, quote, "Anytime you get a shot away from the hard cam, you know what I mean, you can really see a lot of things. AEW found out this weekend or whatever at one of their events, it's like 3/4 of an arena completely empty. They don't want that photo out anywhere." Now, while the arena being 3/4 empty is certainly an exaggeration based on other fans' pictures of the arena, that section that Alvarez captured was near enough empty. But again, that's not to say that isn't a regular occurrence, because it is quite a lot of shows, WWE and AEW for that matter. Now, the day of the event, Sunday, May 28, WrestleTix reported that 10,229 tickets had been sold, with 1,412 available, but obviously there may have been late movement on that. Dave Meltzer reported in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that ticket sales for the event were a disappointment to AEW, with some calling for the company to move away from Las Vegas for future Double or Nothing events, not just because of ticket sales, but also the reaction from fans that were there. So maybe in the future, possibly they might move away from Double or Nothing. What did you, for Vegas for Double or Nothing, what did you think of Pat McAfee's response, and what do you think of the criticism regarding the ticket sales and the sound and some of the production issues as well? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. Finally, Matt Jackson, he wrestled at Double or Nothing, and I guess a few weeks ago that would have been labeled as a surprise, considering that he's had his injury issues this year. Given the absolute carnage of AEW's Double or Nothing anarchy in the arena, the last thing anyone would presumably want to do was go into this match already seriously hurt. However, that is of course exactly what Matt Jackson of the Elite did, competing in the brutal contest while still rehabbing a serious bicep tear suffered in March. Now Jackson has revealed in a lengthy Instagram post the current state state of his arm, as well as revealing his reason behind refusing surgery upon suffering the injury. He said, quote, "I got hurt about 10 weeks ago, literally on day one of the beginning of a very important story that we started. I was told there was a good chance I wouldn't be cleared to perform again for 6 to 7 months after surgery. Surgeons insisted I get the muscle repaired immediately. I opted not to do surgery, but rather try other therapeutic options that'd get me back quicker. I had faith that through proper rehabilitation, supplementation, and prayer, I'd be back wrestling with a target goal of double or nothing. There was clearly a lot of doubt, but I wasn't going to miss it no matter what. In fact, I wasn't going to miss any of the events leading to it either. During the process, I lived in fear that I was making a huge mistake, that my arm would never be the same again, that I'd lose a bunch of strength. I had anxiety and many sleepless nights, that I'd let everyone, including myself, down. Thankfully, my wife Dana, my family, close friends, and various medical staff members supported and showed their love these past couple of months. And I hit my target. Wrestling with my elite family by my side in Las Vegas meant so much to me because the journey there was pretty rough. Thank you to everyone who's put up with me, my endless chatter about my rehab, and asking you to watch me flex so I can tell you how great I look. A few days removed from my first match back, my arm is great, my strength is completely back, and I couldn't be happier. Everything else in my body, including my foot, not so much." With Jackson now seemingly on the road to a full recovery based on his post, his decision seems like the correct one, albeit a risky one on the surface. So Matt Jackson seemingly back to full health. But there you go, guys. That's the latest AEW news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.